yet another edition of the Shirlma Show, and on this edition, we are honored to be in the presence of Dr. Alexis Awungia. He is the Chief Health Officer with Waspito. I know you must be wondering, what's Waspito? Follow us, join the conversation, and you'll get to know about it. Thank you so much for being here today with us, Doc.
You're welcome.
It's really a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure's mine, shared. So
maybe if I were to meet you when you were kind of like 16-year-old, so what kind of person will I be meeting then?
16 years old.
Yeah.
At 16, I was a very happy child. I'm still happy. Yeah, very playful. I loved music and dogs. So at 16, I always took care of dogs and played a lot of music.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, but you guys are doing some very good work when it comes to Waspito, right? Currently, you're actually the Chief Health Officer there. So
yes.
Tell me a little bit about Waspito.
Yes, so Waspito is a telehealth platform.
Okay.
It's a startup company that is trying to improve access, the problem of access to healthcare in Africa. And Waspito is doing that in three main ways. Okay. By facilitating consultations to doctors through telemedicine. So the platform provides users the access to doctors anywhere they are. The second service that Waspito provides is a mobile laboratory service or pharmacy service where applicable. And the third service, so the second service, mobile laboratory, means that from the comfort of your home, you can request for a laboratory service. The lab technician comes home, collects your samples, and sends you results electronically or digitally. And the third service is a social health network, which we've provided through this platform, which permits users to interact amongst themselves with other doctors, where you have forums where doctors and other users interact, open conversations, but then anonymous. If you want to keep your profile anonymous, you can keep yourself anonymous. So that's the third service. Those are three services that Waspito provides to its users generally.
So, but why did you guys actually think that maybe it was necessary for us to have such a platform in Africa?
Yeah, I think it was a bit long overdue. The problem of access to healthcare, like I mentioned, spans across Africa. More than 500 million people in Africa have to travel or journey at least a couple of kilometers before meeting a doctor. And in some cases, people have to travel out of the city. Imagine, for those who know Cameroon a little bit well, if someone is in Kumba and has to see a cardiologist, you have to travel to maybe closest is Boya or maybe Douala. You have to plan a whole day before you meet a specialist, just for an advice or maybe for a rendezvous. So that problem was not only unique to Kumba or Cameroon, but then across Africa. This problem has been there forever, but technology had advanced so much so that we had to take or leverage the possibilities that technology offers to be able to provide this kind of solution, so that people who are in the most remote of areas where they have access to internet can be able, through a few clicks, talk to a doctor from the comfort of their homes.
So, but when you talk about medicine, right, I know it's kind of like delicate field, let me put it that way, right?
Yes.
So I think when people hear about maybe medicine going online with technology, having to deal with calls, there are certain challenges that they might actually be thinking, or maybe they might be worried of certain aspect of it, right? Let me take one, for instance. Let me say I want to consult and I have to make a phone call through the video. So how do you actually manage that? Let me say having a video call through an online platform and I have to tell you my information that maybe I consider confidential. So how do you manage that?
So that is a challenge which many people face. Many people have thought about that challenge. How do they have the same worry when they think about medicine going online? Is it still safe? Is the information still private or confidential? So the answer is yes. It's private, it's confidential, and the information is very secure with Waspito. So we use what we call end-to-end encryption, which other platforms like WhatsApp uses, to make sure that the information that you exchange with the doctor remains between you and your doctor. You have the information in your phone, the doctor has it on their end, and it's just between two of you. There's no third party that sees that information. And the exchange between the patient and the doctor could either be through audio calls or video calls. So it's up to the client or the user to choose whether they want to do a video call or an audio call. And the doctor on their side can also request that you send pictures of maybe parts of the body or whatever that the doctor might like to see, and he assesses or examines it virtually and then give you a diagnosis. So it's a common problem, but like anything which is new, there will be a lot of resistance. People are a bit worried. This thing which is new, like, will it still maintain the privacy that they have on the offline experience? Yes, it does. And for those who have tried it, I think they can attest to that fact.
So now, given the fact that you actually talk of exchanging things like pictures, exchanging things like data, so how can I be assured that this is actually going to be safely kept? Because just imagine that I send my picture, these are kind of like sensitive things, and one day I see it out there. So what maybe what rights do I have on you, for instance?
So we're dealing with healthcare, and we've thought about that as well. So we're respecting or following what we call HIPAA guidelines. It's just a set of regulations. It's true, it's a US-based system to protect patient data and privacy. We are using those guidelines to build the platform and in our practice as well. So doctors have the obligation, professional obligation, to keep your information private. Waspito has not come to change that. And so the Waspito is using a certain technology, and the technology has to respect those guidelines. That's why I talked about end-to-end encryption. Otherwise, we would not even let you share your data if we cannot protect it. So we can assure you that whatever data that a patient uses on the platform or shares on the platform remains between them and their doctor. And not only is it private and safe, they can access it anywhere they want in any part of the world. Unlike your medical records, if you lose your physical records, you might not be able to get access to it. But because it's electronic, you just need to log into your account and you have that information. It's private.
So imagine that, okay, I send my picture. Do you download it into your phone? Because I'm just thinking of a scenario where I keep my phone somewhere. Maybe a child picks it up.
Yes. So, like I said, I will still emphasize and I will try to elaborate on the different ways that Waspito tries to protect user data, because it's very primordial to our practice. So apart from the end-to-end encryption, that data is not stored on the local device. So every time it has to be loaded when it's needed. And we use what we call two-factor authentication, which other apps might use as well, where the app is password protected. So doctor side, like patient side, even if you leave your phone and somebody knows your phone password, they will need to know your Waspito password to be able to log into your account. And if they're using a third-party device, they will not be able to access it, because we have this thing called two-factor authentication, which would send an SMS to your phone each time you have to log in. So you can activate that to increase your privacy. So that is the system which we use on Waspito. So even if a doctor left their phone, they will not come see, nobody's going to see your pictures. You have a doctor's password to be able to access that.
That's more consoling. Thank you. So, okay, talk to me about how lab tests are done, maybe when it comes to Waspito.
Yes, you know, most times if you have to go consult, it would very likely result into a doctor requesting for some lab tests. And we know if you're consulting from your home, there's no lab in your home, so that's why Waspito provided this service. So when you're done with the consultation, the doctor prescribes or requests for some exams, you can order them through Waspito, through the Waspito app. The lab order comes to you, you pay in the app on the platform, and then the lab gets the request. You choose what lab you want to. You can find labs near you, and once you order and you pay, the lab is going to come to your house at a fee of 2,000 francs within the town. Yeah, it's a very small fee. So imagine someone living in Bonaberi, and I don't know which hospital you might want to go to. Maybe you might have spent a lot of time going to that lab and so on. But the lab's going to come to you at a small fee and collect your sample. Once it's analyzed, the results are sent to you back on the platform. So everything happens in the app. You just need to order, and then just like you order for your food through Uber or order for your taxi through other platforms, the lab comes to you and does the sample collection and then sends your result back into the app. And through the same platform, the doctor analyzes the results and sends you a prescription, which you can still order from your phone and either go pick up at a pharmacy or ask for delivery at home.
Oh, I think that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, so but talk to me about your marketing strategy. Because I see you guys are doing, I can say you guys are doing fantastically well, right?
Yeah.
Because like when I see the way you guys are actually handling your marketing, I think that's one thing that most startups are not actually getting, this idea of marketing. But I think you guys are doing very well. So I guess my question will be, how do you actually decide on what marketing strategy to use when it comes to Waspito?
I think it's a very simple question to answer and very simple strategy. We're not using rocket science. All we know is that we have a great product. We would like Cameroonians and other Africans to know about it. So we are using all the communication channels that we know of today. So if there was a radio station, we would like to use them to communicate. If there was a TV, we would use the TV to communicate. Social media. So we're using all the channels that are available to us now. We don't have a unique strategy that is a Waspito strategy.
Wow.
We're just communicating, telling the world that, okay, we are there, we're doing this. And we're using all the platforms that we can leverage on to communicate.
Wow.
Yeah.
More with Dr. Alexis Awungia after the break. If you're just joining us today on the Shirlma Show, we've been in the company of Dr. Alexis Awungia, Chief Health Officer with Waspito. So Doc, just before the break, we're talking about Waspito, right?
Yes.
So I know you know that there will be a lot of questions on Waspito, right?
Yeah, we're here
So,
for that.
okay, so what has the response rate been like, maybe from people who are kind of like joining? What are you saying? What are you witnessing?
I'd say very encouraging.
Okay.
That's how I would describe it. We have lots of people, like from most people who use it for the first time, you see the testimonials. And we have this beautiful thing on Waspito, which is rating the doctor, rating the practice, rating your experience. If you like go through the profiles of some doctors, you see the experience that people are having. There are lots of testimonials that are having there, and usually that really motivates us very much. Some people might be skeptical in the beginning, but once they have the first user experience, they become our ambassadors to talk about it and preach about it. So that really encourages us. I would say that even there's many more people who are still getting to learn about it. They still have to get to use it. But the few who are using, or the many who are using, are really appreciating it. That encourages us to keep working.
So what do you think maybe has actually made this so easy for them maybe to kind of like adapt to it, or kind of like for the response rate to be that positive?
It would be difficult to know without really comparing or having the ability to compare, but I think that the need to have easy access to healthcare is a very present need. Like if you've ever been to a hospital and had to stay maybe 2 hours on the line before seeing a doctor, after seeing a doctor you stay another 30 minutes before going to pay the bills for the labs and all that. If you've gone through that experience and you even hear of a place where you can escape all those hurdles, you should be very excited to try the solution. So we think that, or I think that many people are embracing it because they recognize the problem and see that we are providing a solution to this problem.
So have there been some times where you kind of advise people to go straight to the hospital rather than passing through hospital, or are there some instances where you tell people, no, please, you don't necessarily need to go to hospital because maybe you'll be wasting time, you just need to go straight to the hospital, or you think in every circumstance, if you're sick, then hospital is a place to go, or is the one-stop shop for that?
Yes, so very interesting question. Hospital doesn't provide an emergency service, but it's your first access point. So if you're at home, I imagine if you're at home with X number of people, I would count your phone as one of those other people in the house.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you had a problem, you burnt your hand on a fire, or you're having a fever, it's difficult sometimes to even know if that is an emergency or not. But what Waspito provides people is access to an expert who will tell you, hey, if you're pregnant and you're bleeding, you should go to the hospital. You shouldn't be talking to me right now on the phone. Okay, if you're pregnant, you're bleeding. So doctors know these danger signs, recognize emergencies within the first few seconds of any call, and they would advise you to go to a hospital. So yes, it's not all problems that could be managed on Waspito. The great proportion of problems, more than 60% of ailments could be managed on Waspito. But the other part of problems that couldn't be managed on Waspito, first you could speak to an expert there, and then he will tell you where to find your next service.
Amazing. So I actually like what you guys are doing with medicine and the fact that you guys are looking for alternatives other than the hospital, right? But I think most of the times when you actually talk to doctors, so you see, like, let me say, an accountant talking to a doctor, and the doctor makes you to understand that even though maybe I spent almost 7 years studying, but most of the times you're going to earn even better than me. And sometimes, I don't know, it might actually be maybe the cause of maybe some bad practices in the hospital. So what do you think maybe doctors should be doing to earn more revenue legally?
Waspito is, of course, one of those ways. But I think it's difficult to talk on behalf of all doctors. Of course, different hospitals and different places of work have different salary scales. But Waspito is a big opportunity for any doctor, no matter how much your income is. It's an opportunity for you to increase your income. Okay. Consider Waspito, every doctor should consider Waspito as a freelancing platform. If they have some time in their hands, they can make extra income because all the services, the calls, the labs, and other services that the users pay for, doctors get remunerated for actually spending their time and talking to patients on the platform. Mm-hmm. So Waspito is, I would say, is another opportunity for doctors to make extra income, irrespective of where they work. You can work from home, you can work from your office, etc.
More with Dr. Alexis Awungia after the break. If you're just joining us today on the Shirlma Show, please, I'll advise you to go and start from the beginning of this video, okay, because you're missing. Today, we have been in the company of Dr. Alexis Awungia. So, Doc, tell me something, okay? If, for instance, there's this young, maybe graduate, let's not even say, maybe somebody who just completed high school and wants to decide on maybe what course to take at the university, and maybe wants to join medicine, how can you advise that person? What are some of the things that maybe he or she should actually take into consideration before joining the medical profession?
If I were to advise someone who is looking forward to becoming a medical doctor or being a healthcare practitioner, the advice is the same. Like any other field, you have to like what you do. If they've already chosen medicine as something which they love, I would tell them to gain skills in other transferable skills. Okay. They should learn how to use a computer. It's inevitable. I mean, in the course of their training, they will definitely be using computers. They should learn how to speak in public. They should learn all the basic skills, like now coding is even learned in primary schools and stuff, data analytics, things like statistics. Those are all background courses that usually are done in high school or maybe in the first years of medicine. Most schools actually would provide students with the kinds of the fundamentals that they might need or background courses, but individually I would encourage the young person to try their hands on anything that they find interesting. It could be comedy, wow. It could be photography. Yeah, we have several doctors who have made a big difference just with different talents that they have. Photography, wow. Comedy, other things, music. At some point in my career, I considered doing what we call music therapy. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's actually a thing because I love music. So I would not like to box anybody into a traditional pathway. They should explore their options and just be happy with what they do.
Wow, amazing. Thank you. Yeah, so please, we'll have some fun questions, if you don't mind.
No problem.
Okay. So we'd like you to answer 3.
Oh.
So you just choose any, read it out, and if you're comfortable answering, feel free to answer. Okay?
Okay, question. What recent technology are you eager to use? I've heard so much about the metaverse. It's recent. The metaverse.
Metaverse.
The idea of the metaverse. Yeah, the technology of virtual reality and artificial intelligence and all that. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to the time where we'll be able to consult a doctor with maybe yeah, a VR device where you just wear a glass and then you see the doctor instead of using the traditional. methods. Anyway.
I see where you're coming from. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So the second one?
Okay.
Yep.
Second one, let me shuffle.
Please do.
Okay. Quite interesting ones. What, in your opinion, is ethically wrong but normal in society today? Ethically wrong but normal in society today.
Yeah.
Thinking. Ethically wrong. I would say the one that comes to my head first. Things like female genital mutilation. It's true. It's no more. There's been a lot of work that has been done on it. Female genital mutilation is the practice in some societies or some cultures where young girls at certain ages would be subdued to mutilation. That's they'll do some cuts around your genital parts against their wish. Sometimes in those cultures where it's practiced, it's normalized and people even celebrate it. But later in life, the young girls probably have scars and complications from that, infections and many other things. It might not be prevalent in every society, but some societies normalize it, but I think it's ethically wrong. Yeah, people should choose what they want to do with their bodies.
Wow. Thank you. And
Okay.
last but not the least.
Last question.
Yes, please.
Let me shuffle again. Okay, you've got one chance to assist in your lifetime. Make a pick and state why. Elderly home, disability center, or orphanage. So I have one chance to assist in my lifetime. Where am I going to assist? Elderly home, disability center, or orphanage? I would pick elderly home.
Why?
I pick elderly home. I think elderly people, of course, they say they become like babies. They need a lot of care and assistance. In many societies, many communities, they are neglected. Sometimes just being elderly is a disability. Yeah, like you need assistance. And I am thinking that in my own old age, I would like to be taken care of. And maybe assisting, I don't know what kind of assistance, maybe financial assistance, but more, I think more about service.
Yeah.
If I were to spend time in this kind of home, I would like to listen to the experiences of these old people and probably gain some wisdom while helping them. But I think I'll pick the elderly home.
I'm sure you write so many books after that.
Definitely, yeah. Interesting one, though.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, Doctor, it was really a pleasure having you here today.
Yeah,
And thank you for
fun.
educating us so much. And thank you for what you guys are doing. Please keep doing it. We wish you all the best. But please, before you go, how can people actually reach out to you or to Waspito?
Yep. Thank you very much for your platform. And I think opportunities and platforms like this help us to tell the world what is happening in other small parts of the world. People can reach me through my social media handles. My name is Alexis Tazinya on all my social media platforms. Waspito, they can download Waspito on Play Store, on App Store, and download and use anytime they have internet.
Wow. So it was really a pleasure having you here today. Please
Thank
keep
you.
doing what you guys are doing.
Thank you, thank you. Pleasure is ours.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
On this edition of the Shirlma Show, we were honored to be in the presence of Dr. Alexis Awungia. He is the Chief Health Officer with Waspito. Thank you for being with us today. We are here because you're there. Do not forget to subscribe to our social media handles, The Shirlma Show. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Follow us by the name The Shirlma Show. Thank you.